You're going to winnow out, aren't you, those that can't speak English properly?
Well, of course. I mean,
don't we want
to live in a country where we speak the same language? And isn't it scandalous? Isn't it scandalous that we're not training enough nurses and doctors in our own country? And I don't know about you, but you know, whether you've ever been to a GP that didn't speak very good English, and it's something that people out there are talking about. The whole point about immigration, whether it impacts on the health service or elsewhere, is we have to have proper integration.
But I mean, do you know what proportion the estimate is of NHS staff who are not British born?
Well, it's getting higher every year.
Well, do you know what the proportion is?
Well,
I mean, the estimate is I'll tell you, the estimate is about 11%.
Yeah, there was a recently false figure put out of 4/5 of nurses, which is wrong.
No, it's right. It's about 11%. So you've got 1.3 million. The estimate is working in the NHS. You're talking about 130,000 people who you have to check as to whether they can speak English or not.
I thought it's fairly obvious, wouldn't you? And we have seen medical
cases. And if
cases,
they can't, you'll sack them.
Well, if people don't speak English and they're dealing with English-speaking patients, surely they shouldn't be employed in the first place.
OK, so they will go.
Well, they shouldn't be employed in the first place.
All right, I mean,
but don't we get back to the real issue? Why are we not training enough nurses and doctors in our own country?
OK, fair point. Another point just on the NHS, and you know, this is from what we do know about your plans for it. We will ensure that visitors to the UK have private health insurance as a condition of entry. So you hop on the train in Paris, last-minute business meeting, you come here, you're not born in the UK, you don't have private health insurance, you turn them back at St Pancras.
Well, there are about 200 countries in the world where if you or I went to work there, we would not automatically be entitled to free healthcare on their estate. We would go with a work permit to work in the country, we would prove we had an address to live at when we got there, and prove that we had private medical provision. This is what the whole of the world does, and yet we have allowed the National Health Service to become the International Health Service, and that doesn't make sense.
Of course, we don't have to do that when, as things are currently configured, when we go to Paris or Brussels, do we? Because we're in the European Union.
Yes.
You'd have us pulled out of it, so you'd be checking all those Europeans who still come here to work every day.
We could quite happily have reciprocal deals with countries with whom it was appropriate. But is it appropriate to have that deal with countries where a trickle of people go and work in those countries and a huge number of from their countries come here? It's about being sensible with this. Of course we can have a reciprocal deal with France or with Spain if that suits us to do it.